Okay, I got two smaller medicines today that aren't used very much. I don't even know if they're used at all. But, sticking with my theme, I just wanted to go through both of them. Now, anthemis nobilis is Roman chamomile. We all know chamomile, and we have a medicine in here that is chamomile. The other one is anthoxanthum anthoxanthum, sweet vernal grass, which is good for hay fever. So there's two medicines there that can be utilized, but like I said, they're not the top ones. So that's why things are gonna. I'm gonna do two medicines a day now. Tomorrow is gonna be anthrax. Yes, we made a medicine out of anthrax. It's the anthrax nosode. So they took that uh, anthrax virus and they made a homeopathic medicine out of it. And I would imagine, not saying if you were attacked by anthrax or you got anthrax, anthrax could be the medicine indicated to clear that up. But so, I wanted to mention too that I am not a certified homeopath. I don't want a degree. I didn't need a degree. I was just doing it to take care of my family, to whatever, it first started with my son's eyes swelling shut. And when that cleared up and he was never allergic to a dog again, I started into studying this medicine just basically for the health of my family, friends, whatever. So as a lay homeopath, though, I've taken care of quite a few things. My wife's hernia, prolapsed uterus. What else did she have? Anytime there's a flu, a headache, a cold, my son's legs being split wide open. My other son just came to me, something with his pancreas, spleen. I don't know what it was, but he had major weakness and constipation, pain, I think, down there. But anyways, I gave him alumina, which is aluminum, and that cleared up his constipation. His weakness went away, and he looks much better, but he was looking pretty bad there for a while. So, and he was only on that. Gave him a bottle of water with a little bit in it for, I don't know, maybe a week or two. I think he had it. We put some um, apple cider vinegar in there to make sure it didn't spoil. So, anyways, that was my main purpose, and that's why I feel like I'm qualified to teach people who are not homeopaths. Those guys, they're taking patients in, they're doing it daily, and that's the way you get really good at it. Me, I study it and I utilize it for people, and I just want to teach people how they don't need a degree, don't have to be certified. You can get a kit, you can get a couple books. I can show you a short, cut the time down for you on how to use which medicines for what. And that's what my community kind of does. You go in there, you can utilize whatever you want. You got asthma, hay fever, you can pull out that PDF. Look, there's another one that has medicines on it. You can pull that up and you can try to match, when you see the medicines and which part they're good for, sneezing, this, that, whatever. Then you go and you match that medicine. You say, well, let's look at that medicine. You look at it and you match the few keynotes that I have to what's going on with them and give it a shot. Now, the real wonderful thing about this medicine is you won't harm somebody, you know the most they might prove the medicine if you gave them too much, but most likely if you're using 30s, 200s, C's, 30C, 200C, you're using something like that, you get a kit. That's where I started. First I had a little kit, then I got those two kits, 30C, 200C with about, oh, let's see, I don't know how many, what is it, 10 by 10? I think 100. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 10 by 10. And that's enough medicine to take care of a lot of stuff. It's got a lot of the polycress. It's got a lot of the medicines that you would need. I got a few other medicines along the way that kind of rounded that off with things that I may need. And every once in a while I can buy something off Amazon, or I can Helios or one of these other places. And but do you need to be certified? No, you can't. I give a medicine and you see it. When I read the accounts at the end of this these videos. They've tried 5 remedies, and then finally this unusual one that I'm reading, like I'm reading 2 unusual ones today, that I don't think these ones have been proven. They've just been used herbally. And so I would imagine if they're proven, you'd find more symptoms of them. Uh, but to have a couple books, a kit, one kit is all you really need. You can usually take care of a lot of acute situations, like I say, like my wife's hernia, like this or that. So, anyways, that's my goal, is to bring people in, get this into everybody's hands, because it's very valuable. And from what I'm seeing, a lot of people are losing. When you lose your job, you lose your insurance. What are you gonna do? Well, how are you gonna handle that? That Cobra stuff doesn't sort of cover everything, and it's expensive, and now you're not working, and yeah, so it's a whole situation. Um, and then I don't know if they cut Medicaid. All these people are going to be thrown off. This could be the start of something with people learning to take control of their health, not only through homeopathic medicine can help you. That's just a therapeutic, like I said the other day. It's a therapeutic, just like the doctor's medicine, the medicine that they give, basically, that's a therapeutic. Now, what is the other end of it? The other end of it is, like I say, you don't have to be certified like this. Here, I've got a certification as a master TCM transformational coaching method mastery coach. I got a certificate for going through all their classes and that, and I've been utilizing it. And yesterday I just went through NLP. NLP is neuro-linguistic programming. What that is you're not like a psychiatrist and that. Okay, well, let's talk about your problems for years and we'll get through it and that. No, it's you change it at the brain level. That's neuro. So linguistic is how you talk about it, how you frame it, all kinds of things like that. And programming is just to be programming. One thing is a swish it's called, and you basically take a scene of you doing bad, or a bad situation that happened, and then you have a scene of you doing it and being uh, successful, and then you just swish them in the mind. What you're doing is you're trying to disrupt that neural pathway in your mind and replace it with a new paradigm, I guess you would say, a new vision. So that when you come into situations, because our programming may not even be ours, it comes from way back. But, anyways, I'm getting into health coaching. So, you need something else other than just homeopathic medicine, too. So, as a health coach, I would, your diet is important. And, it's not like you have to eat fruits and vegetables all day and every day. No, you've got to pick and choose. You don't have to count calories, you don't have to this, but you need as much live food. And you should get a lot of your water from food. That's the best place to get water. It's been filtered out anyways, as long as you're not getting it from things that have been sprayed. It always kills me that they're out spraying the dandelions to kill them with this stuff that makes them sick. I think there's some kind of lawsuit out for people that sprayed that Roundup everywhere, and they got mesothelioma. I don't know what they got. They got something from it, but yeah. So, and meanwhile, you can eat that dandelion. You can dig it up, and that's the other end of what I like to do. I like to go out, check out the plants. I'm not that good at it yet, and I took a class and got certified there, but certification doesn't mean nothing unless you're utilizing it. So, anyways, uh, homeopathic therapeutics can overcome a lot of your illnesses, sicknesses, mental, emotional things, hay fever, stuff like that. And that's what I'm going over today. The first one, chamomile, what was that good for? Uh, Anyways, I'll get into it. So the first one's Roman chamomile, and the second one is sweet vernal grass. And sweet vernal grass is, that one's for hay fever and that. So let's get into it. But you can also do this yourself. You can get the homeopathic stuff going. You can learn how to use certain homeopathic medicines like arnica for head hits, chamomile for teething and earaches and things like that, but there's some keynotes, and that's all it takes is a few keynotes. You get them in your mind, And when you see that, you're like, oh, I know what medicine that is. It's so wild. All right, so anthemis nobilis, which is Roman chamomile, is good for gastric disturbances with coldness, sensitive to cold air and cold things. So they don't like cold at all. Um, let's see if there's any folklore. It says anthemis is a common chamomile used domestically in the form of a tea made of the flowers. It is not to be confounded with chamomile malaracea, whatever that is. Burnett, was a doctor, most likely became a homeopath, and I'm not sure if this is where he's at. Burnett has recorded a case in which violent gastric disturbances and headache were caused by the tea, and Berringe had proved the tincture. So someone proved the tincture that it gives you this gastric disturbances and headaches. So Burnett took his Beringe's uh, word for the fact that it helped that, or that it, he proved it. So they're only proving the tincture, they're not proving, just like Hahnemann did. Hahnemann proved the tincture. He took Chicona bark tincture, proved it, got sick from it, got malarial type of fever, and realized that that's why they're curing malaria. So this is why Burnett used this anthemis nobilis. He used that in tincture, undoubtedly, to clear that up. In Burnett's case, there was great coldness and chilliness inside abdomen. Beringe had feelings of coldness generally and sensitive to cold air, and the touch of cold things, but slight exertion caused heat and perspiration. So, as you see, this what the heck is it? Berridge, he proved it. He took that tincture until he got the coldness, the don't like cold things, the headache, and the gastric stuff, and wrote that all down, just like we do when we do a homeopathic medicine. Now they know that's what it's good for. So, uh, gripping and chilliness inside of abdomen in the legs. Bladder feels distended, frequent urination, aching in liver region, coryza with much lacrimation, sneezing, and discharge of clear water from nose. Symptoms are worse indoors, constriction and rawness of throat, cough, tickling, worse warm room. So everything's worse warm room, yet they don't like cold or air and cold things. So yeah, that kind of sticks out to you. If someone has something like this, I don't like cold air or cold things, but everything I have is worse. The kick cough and the nose stuff and everything is worse in warm room. Pain along sperm cord, which feels full as if has varicose veins. I don't know what the heck that means. I guess, yeah, varicose veins apparently ache. Itching in anus with white putty-like stools from this. Itching of soles as if from chilblains, goose flesh. So they get they get the chills, they get when they have chilblains. Obviously, this is good for it. And they don't have chilblains in this one, but it's the itching of the soles like they have chilblains. Anytime you get frostbitten hands and that you get chilblains, it gets real itchy and it can burn. So, anyways, that is Roman chamomile. Now, the regular chamomile. Let's see. I think I saved it in here. Chamomile. LMN. Sorry. CHA. Dang it. I thought I had this thing marked, but I didn't. So I apologize once again. But regular chamomile, which is called chamomilla. What is the characteristics here? Good for clinical acidity, anger, asthma, belching, blepharitis, croup cough. There it is. Eye disorders, dentition, influenza. See, so this has been proven. So there's so many in the clinical of chamomile. That's all the clinical spasms, rheumatism, ulcers, whooping cough. All that stuff. And it's been proven. So it's been, this one was proven. The last one was only proven by one guy doing the tincture. So that was the only proving that he did. And what medicine am I on? Anthemis. But from that proving though, this Burnett was able to utilize that medicine to help a person with a problem. So now the next one is anthemis, or no, that's the same one, anthemis nobilis, which is the one with the the chamomile. Now the anthoxanthum, which is the other one, anthoxanthum, which is sweet vernal grass, is good for hay fever and coryza. So anybody having hay fever, this could be one, but there's a lot of medicines for hay fever. And why is it good? The vernal grass, that grass is probably giving off an allergen. Now, if you're in that area and that grass is what's bothering you, this is the one you'd be utilizing, right? I don't know where it's from. Oh, Europe and America. Huh. Tincture and fresh flower herb. Okay. Tincture and all potencies. So I don't know why there's not a more approving on this, but a popular remedy for hay fever is hay tea. So they make a tea out of it, basically. A decoction made of hay itself. Okay, that's that sweet vernal grass, which is basically hay. Anthoxanthum or doratum, that's what the whole name is, has been used with success on its effects produced by the pollen grains on those subjects to hay fever. It is used both locally and internally. So, locally and internally. Why would you use it locally? Well, anyways, now the other ones that you would compare it to is like allium. Now these are the ones that are in my hay fever: allium cepa, arsenicum, sabadelia. I don't have serinum or naftia, whatever that is. Avena sativa, arundula, anan something or other. LOL. What's LOL? Hmm. But anyways, the ones I would usually go, like my wife yesterday, she started sniffling a little bit again, and you haven't had hay fever again, and I gave her allium cepa. Allium cepa took away the sneezing and the itching, but now to build her immune up past that, you know, she would have to be on it for a little while. I'd have to keep raising her immunity up until it was stronger than the actual allergen that she was, that was happening to her. So, man, I tell you, this earache of mine, I've had this earache went into my jaw. That's probably, I bet you that's why I've been gagging up stuff for a while. I've had a tube in there, put in there when I was a child. You can hear my voice. So I started taking, what is it that I'm taking? Staph agria. Now that staph is helping with something, but it's not the one I need. So now I have to go in and say, what would I be going for? Let's see. So I have an earache left side, sharp pains, closing jaw. I tried that. That didn't have very many medicines in it. So I have a pain in my jaw area, and that's probably I forget what that gland is. The anyways, uh, that could be the gland swelling in there, mastitis gland or whatever. There's a gland in there, and then the probably and every when I wake up in the morning, I got fluid in my ear. You know, it looked like it was a dark color. Now I took and put that always helps. Is I took mullein. That's why you just don't know homeopathy. You got many herbal remedies and things. So I have uh, mullein plant in um, olive oil, and I put some of that in my ear, and that makes it feel better. And that now I got to get to the root of where this is coming from. What is it that's causing me to have this ear problem? Is it the sugar I'm eating? Is it, what is it? Where's this coming from? Why does this start? And it gives me a dull headache too. I just have a dull headache. So, and I do feel kind of funky, and I've been feeling like this for a while, thinking, gee, every time I'm around my wife, I get a cold. I think it's the ear. Now, what I do is when I go into the tub, if I get water in my ear, that's the problem. So I may have to stop that. Because I know when I used to drive uh, in with air blowing in, it would bother my ear. So that ear has always been a problem. And the doctors did their best. They put a tube in there to help me with whatever was going on. Now, that goes back to maybe a miasm of some sort. What would be the miasm, the root of this thing that I need to rip out? So many things that you'd have to consider. But what do? I grab my book, say ear, look around at different categories and say, which one matches the best. And once I match it, then I go and I get a handful of remedies and I go look at them and say, that one has this, that one has that one don't have this, and you underline, this is the most important thing going on. What is which one has that on the top? And then does it have at least two other symptoms that match, like, the mucus in the throat stuff and the jaw aching? Does it have something in that category? And when you match it and get a few of them, you'd be surprised at how quick things clear up. So, and a lot of times, the science is there, but the art of it is figuring out, what am I really going after? And that's what always blows my mind when that I'll never forget that doctor talking to that guy with cancer in his ear. Boy, it looked nasty. It looked like a rotten piece of meat. And he's worried about, what's the worst thing you want to get rid of? What do you, worst, don't you see it, dude? you know, but he said my stomach, and the stomach, he took it back to the emotional stuff. This is why I say this is all perception of what's going on. His stomach was upset or killing him because someone was trying to take his land and he would not fight back. Now, if it was someone fighting back, it was cholesynthesis, which is what I told the guy. He said, what medicine would you guys all say? And I went, I just looked in my books real quick and I said cholesynthesis. And in cholesynthesis, when I read in it, I also put in parentheses, he had Staphysagria and a couple other ones, like Bryony and a couple other ones. I wrote those in there. And he told us, no, cholesynthesis wouldn't be, because a cholesynthesis patient would fight back. They would be all over this and fighting. Staphysagria patient stands back, wants to be prim and proper, even though their property's being taken by some jerk. You know, they still don't want to fight, and they build it up within. The other one is they're fighting. So that's why it wasn't cholesynthesis, and those kind of insights really help you in your studies and in your perceiving what's going on with a person. You see something on the outside that looks horrible, it's really coming from the inside. You always got to remember that. Something inside, something is upsetting the person, whether it's business or work or no sleep because of financials or things like that. There's something going on. Now, like I always say, the emotional can present itself physically. He was having emotional strain and upsets in his stomach, and it presented itself as cancer on his ear. Now, physical, like an injury, a hit, any pain, a pain that restricts your mobility or your ability to do things, can turn into something emotional, like grief or melancholy and sadness and depression. And so it works both ways. One thing can affect the other, and it always does. And that's why Hahnemann always says the totality of the symptoms. It's the whole case. That's why they say don't take your own case, because yeah, it never seems to work out. But taking my own case, okay, headache, ear, throat stuff, always got congestion. Yeah, that's what else is going on? What's going on in my life? It's trying to start getting a business going, getting uh, my message out there. There's some stress there. Like, man, you want this to happen. You can see this happen. You can taste this happen. You have, like I tell the guys in UK, I said, we got gold in our hands, man. One little sugar tablet can clear up someone's life and cause their life to be totally changed. Not because you did something miraculous, just because you went in and hit the vital force, and the vital force cleared it up. Now that pain's gone. Now their mobility's back. Now they're not depressed. So yeah, it's I'm just amazed at how well it works with so many things, so many things. And and this comes in handy too. This is the other end of it. You know, health coaching, man. That's why I was on a 3 hour call yesterday with that NLP, neuro linguistic programming. There's so many ways that you can change habits like that. And Tony always talks about it. Tony Robbins says it's the triad. It's the your focus, your meaning, your language. Is that what it is? Focus, meaning, language. Yeah. So, anyways, what you're focusing on, the meaning you're giving it. Is this person mean? Is this person just, like, let's put my mother for instance. She's upset her kids, her grandkids aren't doing well, and I mean, they're doing fine, but they're not doing much. And she's, uh, in everything she does, all the mean things she says, all the nasty things she says, when I take a step back and don't take it personally, it's all out of love. Like, you're not doing nothing. You never did nothing in your life, she told me. she, she wants me to get out and do something. I am doing something. You don't see it and you're not able to brag about it, but it's there. So, and that's the other end. She goes with all her other sisters with their grandkids and that, and they're doing wonderful, this and that, and hers aren't. So they're not engineers and doctors and things or whatever. But so, anyways, it you understand where people are coming from, and then your language. How do you talk to yourself? No, I am good. I, I I've done a lot in my life. I've ran businesses. I've done this. I've done that. I've grown up a family. I've done plenty in my life. And she doesn't even see behind the scenes what I'm studying and doing and learning and what I'm becoming. And that's what it's all about. It's not about what you do. It's about who you're becoming. You know. And so now I'm just waiting for my God to step in and say, okay, here's your uh, opportunity, and that's the whole idea is in life. You want to keep pursuing, keep taking steps, keep going, keep focusing, keep saying, I know this is going to happen, keep inspiring yourself. Even when things don't seem like they're working. I remember that marble business, man. I was on the knees crying and praying, what is wrong now? I had nobody to ask. Even my cousin, he came up. I think he might have helped me with one, but yeah, I really had nobody, and I would call these people up, and they'd sell me chemicals and stuff, and I'd try them, and they wouldn't work, and I'm like, that didn't work. Okay, try this one. I buy and try. I'm like, man, these guys don't know anything more than I do. So it was like I just had to step in, start doing it, figure it out. Something screwy here. What is it? Work on it until I get it, and then finally I perfected it. I became the best in town. They call these marble companies, and they people say I called 5 marble companies, and your name's the only one I got. So, anyways, that's the same thing here. Homeopathic medicine. I didn't go to get a degree. I didn't go to be somebody with it. I didn't. I just love it, and I love the idea that I can go in, hit somebody with something, and heal them in a day or two, you know, or long term, I can help them out. So, anyways, that's what I want to teach people how they can, for their family's sake, have a kit, have a couple books, learn how to use them. I can shorten that time for you. It's been 30 years for me. And I still learn. And that's not because I need to know more to be able to utilize it, but it's because I want to go deeper and deeper. And that's the only reason why I kept studying. Eventually, the people that come in and want to go deeper, I'll have a mastermind or something, and we'll all sit down and we'll, um, bounce things back and forth and talk about it until, everybody gets to be really good at this stuff so that we can help change the world, because I have a feeling the healthcare system is going to be struggling. Hospitals are going to close because if the Medicare goes away, that's what pays for a lot of these things. Nursing homes, yeah. And even like a prophet is not, Jesus said the prophet is not honored in his own community or whatever. And same, my family, my mother and dad, I cannot get them to take a medicine. Now my sister's on one for she said, oh, the doctor said I got osteoporosis. Okay, take this kelp floor, I'm pretty sure is what I gave her. And she's taking that. I don't know, religiously. Sometimes you gotta remind people, hey, you taking that stuff? How's your? And that last time I talked to her, she said, yeah, my hips isn't hurting. She said when she would walk, her hips would hurt. So now her hips aren't hurting as much. So I guarantee you that kelp flora will go in, cause the vital force to rise up, and produce bone mass to strengthen the bones. Now, she probably should do some standing exercises. That also strengthens the bones. So, anyways, I'm off my soap opera. Tomorrow's anthrax. And where's the dang name? Anthracinum. Anthracinum is what they call it. But it's anthrax nosode. So that anthrax virus, we have a medicine for it. I don't have it particularly. Probably should get it in case something goes wrong. But I do have measles. I have, what is that called? Morbillinum. That's what it's called. I have the measles nosode, morbillinum, and I can take people, put it in a bottle of water, take that bottle of water, put it in more water, just drops onto each one, make a ton of them, hand them out to everybody, and that's like a vaccine. That's what that is. That is a prophylactically we take it. So you take it when measles is in that area, protect the most of the community. The ones that do get measles, then you'd be hitting them with some measles remedies. So to clear that up. All right, that's morning medicine. You can age, but you don't have to get old. Oh man, I gotta take care.